Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to SeanTMac's NFL Pick 6, where I, SeanTMac, give you 6 games that I believe will win against the spread. I don't work for casino or sports app, and I don't condone gambling. But like my father used to say, never bet with the rent money, and make sure the cat's fed. Forget about it. Let's get started. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is the playoffs. High intensity, loser packs a bag, goes home, and thinks about next season. We are 3-3 this weekend, and we end up 54 and 54, 50%. Usually hang around 60, 65, but I'll take it compared to a lot of others who are in this kind of thing, whether they just pick win or lose, over, under, points. The average is somewhere between 34% and 42%. So, hey, not bad. And we kept it above 500 for most of the year. So, with that said, let's try to win some playoff games. Uh, First up, Rams at Carolina. Rams 12-5, Carolina 8-9. I guess you could say Carolina backdoored it into the playoffs. Tampa Bay's fate was in the hands of Atlanta, and they took care of business. So with that, Tampa goes home. Carolina moves on. Rams again 12-5. They're going to be 10.5-point favorites at Carolina. Carolina gets the home field advantage. We're going to start with the Rams first. Matthew Stafford, MVP candidate. In my belief, he should win it. I know a lot of people have Drake May up there above him, but Matthew Stafford has done a hell of a job in and out. And if you look at the games that they played and the teams they played over the season, you kind of get my drift. So we know about Matthew Stafford and the offensive line. For the most part, they're pretty decent. Over the last couple of weeks, they kind of faltered a little bit. He's been sacked a few more times than usual, but I believe they'll step up for the playoffs. And mind you, a lot of veterans on this team compared to the Panthers, who's still quite young. We know about Devontae Adams and the core. They're going to get open. You can do all the things you want, set up whatever defense you want. They will find a way. Williams in the backfield. And listen, their offense, I believe, averages over 24 points a game. And then the defense, on the defense side of the ball, listen, I believe they're 12th, 12, 13 overall. Ninth against the pass and the run. Pressure up front is outstanding. They do what they got to do to put the pressure on and get the job done. They've been doing it all season. I don't see them faltering here. Of course, they had a few injuries, but they got some people back this week. Should help them contain against the pass as well. Carolina, let's again backdoored it in. I said last week they would lose. They did. But hey, the football guys looked over them, and they still found a way into the playoffs. So here they go against the Rams. Now, if they get past the Rams, then you're like, scratching your head. How do I just don't see it happen. Okay, I don't see it happening. Let's put it that way. Bryce Young, hats off, outstanding job. Rico Dowdy in the backfield, fast little guy. He's elusive. He'll get some yards. McMillan, outstanding receiver. The receiving core legit too, and more. What can you say? They could put up some points. The defense isn't bad either. Around hanging around the 20s, basically, in against the run and the pass. Not bad pass rush, but against the Rams, I think they'll have a hard time getting to Stafford. I can see them getting there one or two times and putting some good pressures on. But Stafford's offense knows how to open the lanes and give Stafford the alleys to throw down, if you know what I'm saying. Give him a chance to run if he has to, and do what he's got to do and give to the running back and whatnot. And I think Carolina's in for a long day. I try to make sense of Carolina, and I really can't because of the fact that win loss, win loss. The whole season's been inconsistent, and the last few games, haven't been anything to talk about. Like I said, the South has never been a dominant division. All right. And again, this year as well. You know what I'm saying? So, with that said, Rams are 10.5-point favorites. The veteranship, the coaching. I understand a lot of you guys are like, well, Carolina's put some good points, and they, by the way, Carolina actually beat the Rams earlier in the season, 31-28. But I saw that game, and it was one of those letdown games where the Rams just didn't look like themselves. And maybe they overlooked them. That's the way I saw it. But they smell blood. And I've always said they were one of the teams that are going to make it to the Super Bowl. I do believe the march goes on. There's no conservativeness here. They're going to lay the pedal down, and they're going to run this team into the ground. With that said, I'm taking the Rams 10.5 over Carolina. Congratulations to Carolina. They made the playoffs. It looked dismal in the beginning of the season, but here, officially, it stops. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know. I got it. Next up, we have Green Bay at Chicago. Always a great rivalry, of course. Goes back, 100 years. Green Bay 9-7, Bears 11-6. We'll start with Green Bay first. Loses 4 in a row. Jordan Love, concussion protocol for a couple of weeks. And then, of course, they sat their starters at the end. Don't underestimate Green Bay. Don't let the record fool you. When Jordan Love's in there, it's a whole different team. All right. I'm glad the kid actually got away from that gunslinger mode that he was doing for a while there. His touch looks great. He's been off for a few weeks. I think he's going to come in fresh. I feel he's going to come in fresh. Let's put it that way. They got Wilson and Jacobs in the backfield. Jacobs was hurt, but he'll be ready for game time. So I see him getting some yardage. Watson and Romeo Doubs is back as well. That helps in the receiving core, not to mention Reed. Defense, not shabby. Top 10, top 11, but they can be thrown on, and we've seen it all year. Their secondary is not very good. So I expect the Bears to go deep a few times to try to open this defense up a little. A defense against on Green Bay side to open up a little bit and get some yardage out of that. But with that said, Green Bay's defense will keep you in the game, and Jordan Love for sure is going to put up some points. Let's go to the Chicago side of the ball. Outstanding job. Everybody says they're a year ahead of schedule, whatever the hell that means. They're playing for the playoffs. All right, they didn't start the season going, hey, you know what, next year. No, they didn't do that. Okay, I don't know where that nonsense started from. They've got this far, and they've done it any way they could. Let's face it, the offense is no powerhouse, even though they scored some serious points against the 49ers a couple of weeks ago. And the defense, it's misleading because of the takeaways, and which they've done very well all season, giving their offense the ball back and a chance to score again. But the defense is not very good. They're not very good against the run and could be annihilated on the pass. I'm just telling you like it is. I believe they're high ranked in the 20s, 27, 28. The defense overall, I want to say, is like 17, 18. It's just, if Jordan Love is feeling like he should, and remember he's running the playoffs over the past, he gets that groove on, it's lights out. Now, let's talk about Caleb Williams. He looks great. He looked like a robot in the beginning of the season. Looked like they were just trying to get the mechanics back down, standing in the pocket, kind of coordinating his throws, and to me, too predictable. But in the last few weeks, he's gotten loose, looks a little more comfortable. The offensive line is doing an outstanding job of giving him the time. All right, you got Swift back there, and this guy Monangai, the rookie, is doing a sensational job of getting some yards. Of course, you got Moore and Adunzi. I think I said his name right. Adunzo is back as well. He's been out for a few weeks. He's a big piece of that receiving core. Look for him to make some noise. But again, the defense is what bothers me. Not that Green Bay's much better against the pass, but in this game here, I'm going to go with Jordan Love's experience. Even though they're not playing in Green Bay, the weather's not going to be a factor. They're both used to playing in the cold and the nastiness. But with that said, Green Bay is going to be favored by 1.5 over Chicago at Soldier Field. It will be a tight one. I think Green Bay will get loose at the end, though, and win this game by 1.5. So the first two games, Rams favored by 10.5. Carolina, I'm taking the Rams. Second game, Green Bay 1.5 over Chicago. I'm taking Green Bay. Both road teams, mind you, and both Saturday games. Next up, we have Buffalo at Jacksonville. To me, probably the best game of the week. This should be a good one. Buffalo 12-5, Jacksonville 13-4. Buffalo will be the favorite by 1.5. And to me, that just tells me the bookies are going with playoff experience. That's the only thing I can really see, unless I'm not getting the whole picture, and anything's possible. Josh Allen, still playing hurt, still has the hurt leg or foot. It may slow him down a little bit, but trust me when I tell you, he's going to give it his all. Look for him to run over 80 yards this game, because he's going to be doing everything he can. All right, he's got Cook in the backfield. We know about him already. Shakir and Shavers, two primary receivers on the side, and plus awesome tight ends with Knox and Kincaid. Mind you, both of those guys have had knee injuries over the past few weeks. So they are playing somewhat hurt. Good enough to go, but that might slow them down some. As for the defense, Joey Bosa, questionable. I don't see him playing, but they're saying he is questionable. Maybe they're keeping the other team thinking about it just in case he is playing, whatnot. He is a good pass rusher, but after being hurt off and on all these weeks, how much can he do? They are missing about 4 or 5 players on defense, especially on the defensive line. That's going to take away from their pressure. They're not very good against the pass. Decent. Okay, I'll say decent, but the running game, you can really lay some yards on them. All right, with that said, let's go to Jacksonville. Hey, man, 4 stars out of 5 as far as I'm concerned. I said this about 10 weeks ago when I watched this team. And you at home feel the same way. If you've been watching them the whole time, you see the way they gel, they molded, getting the job done. Trevor Lawrence is getting the protection he needs. He's healthy. And I have not seen a season where he's been fully healthy without no injuries, or partial injuries and whatnot, or any kind of team problems. All systems go on this squad. They're playing at home. ETN and Tootin in the backfield. Tootin's back, by the way. I do believe he was out for a couple of weeks. 2 different type of receivers, 2 different types of running backs, I should say. But both are slash receivers as well, because both of them, again, know how to get to the ends. And when Trevor's in trouble, which he can run too, they're there to catch the pass. And yes, they can catch. And when they get that ball, it's off to the races. Washington and Jacoby Myers are the receivers. Strange, I have to call him Dr. Strange for whatever reason, is a tight end. Always seems to find a way to get open. I've talked about their defense for weeks. Now they're number 1 against the run. That pass is more of a bend but don't break type of containment. I've always liked that throughout the season with them. Yeah, they'll give some points, but they'll take a lot of time off of your clock and your possessions to shorten up the game a little bit. And when Trevor gets out there and the offense starts to move the ball, they score. With that said, Buffalo, and this it's sad because no Mahomes this year, no Lamar, no Burrow. We get it over the last 4 or 5 years. That's all we heard about. But Buffalo, I understand the cape thing, Superman, all that nonsense. Not even Superman get the job done by himself. Too many injuries. Even guys that are playing are injured. They don't have that Buffalo home field advantage in the cold. They're going to be playing in 65-degree weather. Trevor Lawrence looks fantastic. Now, I did say this for the last few weeks. Jacksonville has not had that letdown game, and we all know what I'm talking about. That game where everything looks like it's just not clicking. Everybody's out of sorts. Really don't see that happening this time. I really believe in this team to go at least to the championship. With that said, Buffalo's favored by 1.5. I'm going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's do it. Then we have the 49ers at the Eagles. 49ers 12-5. Eagles 11-5. No, that can't be right. No, they're talking about it's got to be like 11-6. Um, anyway, the Eagles will be 4.5 point favorites at home. Cold, yeah, okay. But the 49ers, even in Frisco, it gets a little breezy, okay? And, they're no chumps, and there are a lot of veterans on that team, so the weather's not going to be too much of a concern. Brock Purdy, listen, he's playing well. He did run up against the wall against the Seahawks, who were like, top three defenses against the pass and the run, so deservedly so. But if you can't get past them, I don't see what your projection is making it to the Super Bowl. But with that said, Brock Purdy's playing well. Of course, you got McCaffrey back there, the workhorse, Kittles, who seems to be playing injured, still out there. And of course, you got Jennings and Purcell, as well as the receiving core. Jennings is fantastic. Here's where lies the problem with the 49ers. Their defense is not very good. And I said it for weeks. They give up a lot of yardage, a lot of long plays, okay? And the interior linebackers and whatnot give up a lot of short plays as well. Pass rush isn't bad, all right? It's, I would say, average at best, all right? They have their moments. But against the Eagles' offensive line, they protect Jalen Hurts pretty damn well. And I believe the 49ers are going to have a hard time. All right. And again, listen, what do they give up? Over 20-something points a game? I'm telling you right now, the Eagles, you'll see what I mean in a minute when I get to that, will make it hard for them. And not to mention the Eagles' defense, I can tell as well. So, again, 49ers, what credit's due. They quietly made their way into the playoffs. Again, they got beat against the Seahawks, 13-3. Their offense was null and void, even though the weeks before that, Purdy was like throwing interceptions, passing touchdowns galore, 8 in a couple of weeks. And so I think McCaffrey's just beat up. It's been a long season. They'll find a way to get on the scoreboard, but not to the point where they're going to beat the Eagles. As for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, listen, Mr. Non-Emotional, he's going to play the same way. Don't look for too many changes. You will see Saquon get that ball a lot. And he has yet really to have a breakout game. And you know what? The stars are shining bright. The lights are bright. He's going to be playing the Eagles. He's going to play, at Eagle Stadium. The crowd's going to be behind him. Yeah, I could see a breakout game here for over 100 yards. I could see that happening. T.J. Brown will be back, not to mention Devontae Smith. And this is huge. The offensive lineman, one of the best players on the offensive line, Lane Johnson. I almost forgot. He is the anchor to that offensive line. He is the piece that really contains the defense. He's a veteran. He's outstanding. He'll be back for the Eagles this week. He'll give Jalen Hurts that security blanket on one side of the offensive line. We'll have more time to throw the ball. All right. As for the defense, they're pretty damn good. And I've said this for a long time now. They're very good at reading the opponent's quarterback and the offense. All right. They're pretty good at intercepting the ball, containment. I believe they're going to hold. What you're going to see from the 49ers is a lot of dip and dunk stuff, the Kittles and whatnot. McCaffrey, pass to the outside. Jennings down the field once in a blue moon. But for the most part, this Eagles defense can contain the 49ers. And that's the way I see it going down. I see it being like a 5 or 6 point game down to the wire. But I see the Eagles, who are going to be 4.5 point favorites here, to beat the 49ers. I'm going with the Eagles. In Philadelphia. Next up, we have the Chargers at the Patriots. Should be a nice little air show. Chargers 11-6, Patriots 14-3. Of course, Justin Herbert will be quarterbacking for the Chargers. They haven't looked too good in the past few weeks. Herbert's had that hurt arm, and then he was out, and then he came back, and then he sat him again. Give him his rest. He'll be fine. And this is a big game for Justin Herbert because he's really not hasn't got over this hump yet. And so I know that's in the back of his mind. And I'm going to give him a little faith this time around. And we'll get to that in a minute. The offensive line, they're okay. Justin Herbert's been on the floor a lot lately, so they really need to tighten that up. Okay, for whatever the problem is, they need to figure out a way, which I kind of expect a lot of holding plays in this game because the Patriots are going to rush a lot. You got Hampton in the back, along with Haskins, McConkley, Johnson, and Allen, other receivers. The defense, top 10 in both categories against the run and the pass. They always keep the Chargers in a game. Really rarely only see them get blown out maybe once or twice throughout the whole season. That's not bad considering 17 games, but for the most part, they do their job. Same thing on the other side of the ball, and the defense are pretty much the same in terms of rankings, if you know what I mean. On the Pat side of the ball, they will be 3.5-point favorites in New England. Okay, and by the way, it's supposed to be like a light rain, 40s. And if you're worried about Justin Herbert playing in the rain, I got news for you. He played in Oregon, okay, in college football, where it rained all the time, okay, the Seattle. So that's not going to bother him. So, and he's one of the better passes in the rain. With that said, look, Drake May, I understand about to crown him king and all that nonsense. As far as I'm concerned, they had a pretty soft schedule this season. All right, you just wipe out the 2 Jet games. That was a joke. All right, my beloved Jets. Ugh. All right, and not for nothing, the AFC wasn't that strong to begin with. So you can't take the wins away from them. But I still see some flaws. Offensive line, they're giving Drake May his time. I have no negativity about that. I think they're going to have some problems this week with the pass rush of the Chargers. Don't think they really faced too many defenses like that this season. I think maybe Cleveland and maybe one other team that they played against it was really a prominent, decent defense, above average. Let's put it that way, with good pressure. In the backfield, they have Henderson and Stevenson, Driggs, Boutte, the receivers, if I'm saying his name right, and of course Hunter Henry, the elusive Hunter Henry, that always seems to find his way open as well. The defense, they match up pretty much the same. Top 10 in both categories. If you ask me, the Patriots linebackers are not as fast as the Chargers. Now, you're saying to yourself, what are we doing here? Most teams these days, if you notice, a percentage of their games is over the middle, short passes. It just seems to be the way these days, where it used to be a lot of long passes and whatnot, a lot of long patterns. These days, it's short containment and whatnot, and they have to really be on point because at the same time, they're trying to read the quarterback. Fake handoff, play action, all that nonsense. I do believe the Chargers will do a better job at dunking and ducking as for the Patriots as well. Now, Drake May has played a hell of a year, second year in the league. My hat's off to him. I know he's an MVP runner-up as well. Does he deserve it? You know what? Get past this game, and I might think otherwise. As far as I'm concerned, it's the coaches on that team. Mike Vrabel's done a hell of a job in turning that organization around again after they were like the dominant ones for years and years. And here they are again. But with that said, listen, the Patriots will be favored at home. 3.5 points over the Chargers. Justin Herbert has to get over that hump. And I believe that this will be it. I'm taking the Chargers with the points, 3.5 against the Patriots at home. And then last but not least, this has got to be one of the hardest games I've ever picked. Even the Pittsburgh Raven game, you know. But the Texans and Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh's driving me nuts. Like I said, I picked them a lot this year, and they didn't let me down. And then all of a sudden, somebody pulled the carpet out from underneath them, and all hell broke loose. But let's get to the point. Texans at Pittsburgh. Terrible towels. Texans will be favored by 3.5, even though they're on the road, deservingly so. TJ Stroud has done a great job. To me, he's played better last year. He played a lot better last year. I don't see too much zip on the ball like I've seen in the past. Maybe he's trying to get some nice touchdown or whatnot, touch on the ball like Jordan Love over there in Green Bay, who had the same problem. Receiving core, Nikhil Collins and Higgins, and Dalton Schultz, his tight end, is who he goes to, I would say 60% of the time in the game. So look for him to get double teamed as well. He's got Marks, the rookie in the backfield. Chubb, I'm pretty sure you'll see him a few times as well. The offense is okay. I'm going to say basically average. Because let's face it, it's the Texans' defense that keeps them in the games. There's no question about it. And they're pretty much number one, number two in all the categories. Fantastic, outstanding against the run, the pass. Great pressure on the edges. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers, he better learn how to run quickly at the age of 48, 49, whatever his age is. I'm just kidding. They better focus on that because these guys are fast and they will hurt you. But with that said, listen, it's their offense just doesn't generate enough points for me. Now let's go to the Pittsburgh side of the ball. I seem to be constantly talking about them. Aaron Rodgers is going to be Aaron Rodgers. We know what he does. He's going to the Hall of Fame for a reason. If you're in a fist fight with him, he's going to win. And if it comes down to that, I'm going to give Pittsburgh the edge. We know he's got Warren and Gainwell. That kid Gainwell in the backfield is pretty damn good. I like him. Outstanding receiver. We're at Merimoff, right? He's just phenomenal. Of course, they have Scatling, receiving core with Austin. And least I forget Metcalf. Now, last week, I was under the assumption he was playing. I thought he was appealing it the second week, yada, yada. They made it look like all systems go. And then, but it didn't matter. They got the job done. And that's a great thing because they proved they can do it without Metcalf. Granted, it was a missed field goal at the end. I understand that. And it didn't make a difference anyway because the Ravens wouldn't have covered the point spread. So after that, I was like, whatever. But congratulations to Pittsburgh. Congratulations to Mike Tomlin. I fought with this game for the last couple of days. And I just came down to one fact. It's going to be close. It's going to be brutal. I need Pittsburgh's defense to be that. The inconsistency is a horror show. It's a joke. They've been tightening up a little more lately. Okay? Let's hope they stay that way against the Texans because they're not a high-powered offense. And if you can at least contain them for most of the possessions, you're going to win this game. Aaron Rodgers will lead the way. He will get it done. Texans are 12-5. I'm not sure if I said that. And Pittsburgh 10-7. I'm really doing this for Mike Tomlin. I never like to think with my heart because heart doesn't win games unless you're out there giving it your all. But Mike Tomlin deserves this. Aaron Rodgers deserves this. Pittsburgh, with all their problems on defense, deserve this. I haven't really bought into the Texans. Awesome defense, mediocre offense. So I don't know how far they would get anyway. I think Pittsburgh would be a lot more fun to see in the playoffs if you ask me because you really don't know what you're going to get. But let me shorten up here before I get carried away. With that said, Texans are favored at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh at home. Texans will be favored by 3.5 points. I'm going with the Steelers. And I changed my mind like 6 times already. I'm not going to lie because I go back and look at a game and I see this like, oh, man. And then Mike Tomlin, get that playoff win. Get that win. All right. After that, it is what it is. But I'm taking Pittsburgh to cover. the 3.5 points that were given by the Texans. So with that said, let's go over our picks real quick, and we can all start our day and get ready for Saturday. All right, first up, Rams 12-5, 10.5 over Carolina at home. I don't want to become repetitious. It's been a nice one for Carolina. It should have ended last week. I think they would have did them a favor. Okay, are they going to come out there like a Cinderella, and do some damage against the Rams? Can they keep it close? So you got to feel it out. Rams are 10.5 point favorites. There's nothing to feel out for me. The Rams will win by more than 10.5 points. So I'm going with the Rams, of course. Green Bay at the Bears. Green Bay will be a 1.5 favorites. Jordan Love is back. Chicago, maybe it's true. Maybe they are a year ahead of schedule. Maybe they shouldn't be here. But they are here. And they did everything they could to make it here. Whether the defense is not good or not, they've done everything they could to come back in games and make it to this point. So my hat's off to them. But Green Bay will be favored by 1.5 at Chicago. I'm taking Green Bay to cover. Then we got Buffalo at Jacksonville. Josh Allen and company coming a little beat up there. Really can't take Jacksonville seriously yet because first time in the playoffs in a while. I don't think anybody saw this coming, really. The whole team is pretty much healthy now. They're in sync. They molded well together this season. They got pluses on every side of the ball. Buffalo will be favored by 1.5. I know a lot of the people out there in bookies and whatnot are like, Josh Allen won't work his magic. They're going to be keying up on him. And if his foot hurts him, they might put him in more pain. With that said, I'm taking Jacksonville as the underdog at home here with the 1.5. Then we have the 49ers at the Eagles. 49ers 12-5, Eagles 11-6. Eagles will be favored by 4.5 in Philly. I expect it to be cold. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for Frisco with all the veterans on that team that play in weather like this. They have some veterans, and they've been in the playoffs a few times, but so have the Eagles. Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? But with that said, I see the non-emotional Jalen Hurts giving the ball off to Saquon a lot. And yeah, A.J. Brown will probably get a couple touchdowns too. With that said, I'm taking the Eagles against really a 49er defense that to me has been non-impressive. The offense will score some points. I can see that happening. But the defense is very good on the Eagles side. I'm taking the Eagles to cover the 4.5 points against the 49ers. And then we have the Chargers at the Patriots. Justin Herbert has to get over that hump. Hats off to the Patriots. Drake May's done a hell of a job in the second year. The coach, too, outstanding. Both defenses are similar. I see this one going back and forth. But here, I see the Chargers edging out the Patriots, winning the game. The Patriots will be favored 3.5 points over the Chargers. Maybe I'm just not buying into that Patriot Kool-Aid. Maybe it's a New York thing. Hey, you never know. With that said, I'm taking the Chargers to cover the 3.5 they're given by the Patriots. And last but not least, this is probably the hardest game I had to pick in a long time. Texans 12-5 against Pittsburgh 10-7. Texans will be favored by 3.5 points over Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And only yesterday I was saying, I'm going with the Texans. Mike Tomlin, you got me again. I'm taking the Steelers with the 3.5 they're given to cover. That's it. With that said, I wish everybody luck. Safe weekend. Remember, people, check the point spreads before you make any commitment to any game. Okay? And injury report usually in by Friday. I will see you guys next week with probably a shorter platform for the NFL playoffs. But let's hope we can go 6-0 this week. Hey, And don't forget, make sure the cat's fed. And the dog if you got one. Thank you.